Well, good morning and welcome back. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all doing good. It's the Done Deal show on the Football Terrace. Some big updates in relation to Arsenal's pursuit for Dusan Vlahovic this morning. It's very interesting to me. It's very interesting for me in relation to the direction this transfer deal has gone in. I'm very much on the fence about it. There are a number of different opinions that are circulating across social media from different journalists, based on their interpretation of um, what's going on, essentially. Obviously, we're here to gauge your views and to gauge your opinions to understand, what you think is going on and what is being said and done. Of course, want to hear from you in the comment sections as well. Member chats and super chats, we always prioritize as a big thank you for helping to support the Football Terrace. Good morning, Joanne Smith. I hope you're well. Hope you're good. Yes, I knew it was on mute. It's unmuted now. You should be hearing me. No worries, H7. Thank you very much. Finally, he's here. Terry is here to talk sense. Look, we're going to be talking to the Chelsea fans a little bit later today on the Straight Facts show. So very much looking forward to that. So watch this space. Stay tuned for that, which will be this afternoon. And remember, we are live watch-alongs, dual watch-alongs tonight on the Football Terrace. Exclusively on our Twitch channel. So make sure you're following that. The links are in our description below as well. But some interesting news, as we say, surrounding the Vlahovic kind of news and the kind of situation that's sort of fluctuating in relation to this potential deal. Lots of different outlets reporting the news, for me, in various different ways. The expectation, though, is that Arsenal will still go big at some point this month. Whether that's an official bid or an unofficial bid via intermediaries is elementary. That point only matters if you care about your offer being rejected or not. If you're an Arsenal fan that cares about whether Vlahovic says yes or no, then that matters. But if you're like a normal human being that just cares about what something means rather than what it is, the hows and the whys rather than the whats, Arsenal are expected to place, or maybe have already placed, a really big bid in for the player. And what's really interesting is a report that's come out of, I want to pronounce it right. I think it's pronounced Viola Florentina, where they're a verified outlet based that censor around news to Fiorentina. They have claimed that Arsenal, and I'm going to share this on the screen so you can see it. They have claimed that Arsenal are extremely serious about signing Dusan Vlahovic and are set to submit a bid of 70 million euros. That's around nearly 60 million pounds. In their mind, that's set to come through in the coming hours. Fiorentina awaits the offer. Other Florence-based outlet is pretty much ties in and follows the pattern of previous stories. This has obviously been shared by Dean James, who is an Arsenal fan. He shared the news, as you can see. A lot of the Florence-based media outlets connected to Fiorentina are very much of the belief that a bid will come. That is their view. That is their point. That is what they think, and that is what they feel. I think they're reporting the news in its basic terms. I think Arsenal will still keep talking to the football club. I think that will happen. That news, by the way, was also shared by a very popular aggregator for Arsenal news here at AFC Stuff, who have said pretty much the same thing, that they expect to see this deal come in, or the bid, to come in and be kind of put out there. Whether or not it's accepted is a very, very different conversation altogether. It truly is. But there is an expectation that this bid will happen. There is an expectation that they will try and get this done. There is an expectation that Arsenal will try and move this deal forward. There was a lot of talk yesterday, and we spoke about it, of course, on the terrace, that maybe the deal was dead, maybe the deal was over. Dean Jones has the opinion that the player will reject. That is his take. That is his thought. That is his feeling in relation to this deal. However, that's Dean's opinion, and Dean's absolutely sort of entitled to that, as it were. Fabrizio Romano's comments are very, very interesting today, and you can see here where we have shared this on one of our pages today, that he said that Arsenal are pushing to sign Vlahovic since October. They want him. They consider him to be the perfect player to be their striker. I think he would be the perfect kind of player for Arsenal with the way they're playing. The project is very good. So Arsenal themselves here have got the full endorsement from the biggest Italian journalist in the world, as you can see here. If we highlight that graphic a little bigger, he is absolutely backing that completely. He wants that to happen. He wants that to progress. He wants that to move forward and be done. That's the long and the short of it there. Whether or not it happens are two different matters. But there seems to be, or appears to be, a fair amount of confidence in certain outlets that this could happen. The fact that Arsenal have not been ruled out by anybody major should still be an encouraging sign for Gunners. And I kind of understand that some Arsenal fans don't want to. I kind of feel like some Arsenal fans don't want to get their hopes up in case it doesn't happen. Some want to play it down. But the news is still there. And I'm a realist in these situations. The fact it hasn't gone away, the fact that Vlahovic's agent has not come out and said 100% we're not going to Arsenal, means it is still on, it is still active, and it still could happen. It still could happen, ladies and gentlemen. Can't chase him the whole window and not sign him. Well, Gigi, you can if he says no. If in the end, essentially, when I've read all these stories, yeah, there might be some negotiations to still do with between the two clubs. But for me, when I see this, I mean, there is a report in the Daily Mirror today that Arsenal have been dealt a blow. This is where my thought comes from. When I read it all, I feel like the agent and Arsenal can come to an agreement. I think Arsenal and Fiorentina can come to an agreement. It's about whether the player in the end says yes. And there's a report today, as I'll put up on the screen, shared by Transfer News Live, as you can see here, that reportedly Arsenal have been dealt a blow because the Serbian international only wants to join Juventus. So he may decide, I'm going to wait until the summer to sign for Juventus. However, and it is a very big however, maybe Juve don't have the money. Maybe Juve don't have the money to get this deal done. Just because he wants to join Juve, in my opinion, doesn't mean that it's an impossibility for him to sign for Arsenal. It may not happen this month. It may not. It may have to protrude into the summer. But I'm not writing this off yet, and a lot of people are guessing it won't happen, and they may end up being right. But I think it's wrong just to write it off straight away. I will be furious, need to move on if we can't sign him, is what Gigi's got to say. Arsenal should give up. They are embarrassing themselves, is what Darius Palmer thinks about this transfer pursuit. I do want to get your takes on that, people. I want to know how you think and you feel about this. But it isn't going away. And today's news is new news. Everything that's come out today, some of you may look at it as a reiteration, but I don't. I've read the articles, especially the stuff coming out of Florence. This is new news to them. Bids are being increased. Arsenal are not giving up. Now, I suppose the question comes down to this, and this is why I don't think 100% is going to happen. I'm still about 50-50, whether it happens. The fact Arsenal are not giving up is massive. And I think to ignore that is wrong. Do me a big favor this morning, people, and please make sure you're smashing that like button for the Football Terrace. It's key. Make sure you subscribe and you turn on the bell notifications. There are a number of things in our description below which are really important for you to go take a look at and check out. Firstly, you can become a member. We're going to be doing something for our members. Just got to get the equipment in, where we're going to, all our members, we're going to kind of word your names together, your usernames, and we're going to be projecting you over the walls for our streams going forward. Probably by the middle of next week. So all of your names as members will be projected across our back walls as homage to you on our members' walls to say thank you for becoming members and supporting the Football Terrace. Scarves have been ordered for our legends and super fans. They are being made. I went literally through hell with a couple of companies trying to get good quality merch for you. That's on its way. That's being done. Of course, make sure you follow our Telegram group chat for all notifications so you don't miss when we go live. I do put some exclusive perlers of news in there as well that I get through the connected journalist to the terrace. On top of that, make sure you follow our Instagram, our TikTok, of course, our Twitch, where all our watch-alongs are being done exclusively. And we're going to be broadening out the watch-alongs very soon as well, where we're going to have the panelists on the sofas, but also fans behind them as well, cheering along, giving their takes. We have a roaming camera of a microphone for during the games. Honestly, we're going to build something beautiful there, and we want you all involved. So a massive thank you to each and every single one of you that is making the terrace dreams become a reality. So thank you very much indeed. In other news today that I wanted to delve into and talk about was Paul Pogba. Lots of talk, lots of noise that he will leave Manchester United, and a really big sort of from Paul Hurst from the Times, who said that Man United have made many attempts to get Paul Pogba to sign a new contract, but he is reluctant to come to the table. It looks almost certain that he will leave for free. And this was my thought throughout the majority of the summer, that he would end up leaving for free. I'm not surprised. However, the positive news coming out of this for Manchester United, it is very much thought that he won't become a problem for Manchester United. It is very much thought that he will work hard, train hard, play hard until the end of the season, which could be very beneficial to Man United. In fact, it's almost essential for Manchester United that they have a player to be able to push forward in that way. You know, it's really, really important indeed. And I think they can do it. And I think they'll be able to... I think that he'll be able to deliver so much more for Manchester United in that regard. I really, really do. Sorry, my train of thought got pushed off there because I just had something thrown in front of my nose. So I get tweeted a lot of stuff like news saying, can you read this? And it's just kind of like breaking news. I want to get this verified. It's already verified here. Okay, so they're looking. Okay, someone just replied saying they've already signed a replacement. Okay, right. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I just was checking that because it was breaking news and I didn't want to miss something while we were still sort of sitting here and talking. Wow, interesting as well here. So someone has sent me another thing here from the Express here that says, which is an interesting. Thank you, DJ, for sending this through to me. So it's always good to DM me the links if you guys see things and want to talk about them. DJ is the best at it. DJ is one of our members in the comments. He literally DMs me articles, stories, and tweets when they come out, so I can take a look at them. But this is what you can see here. Arsenal are set to offer Dusan Vlahovic £308,000 a week and submit a £58 million bid. Is what's being claimed there by the Express Sport. I'll take a little look at that and see what they've got to say. My internet, by the way, is doing an absolute madness today. It really is. It's up and down. I'm very, very sorry. I'm not even too sure why. I've got no other applications open. It shouldn't be doing it, but it is doing it, and it's very annoying. So I'm sorry for the lack of quality at times today. I was going to click on that article and take a look. The problem is I don't want to use any more bandwidth up. But £308,000 a week is massive. However, I financially like to break these offers down because that might include everything, including image rights, bonuses, the lot. So when the report came out of what Alexis Sanchez was earning at Manchester United, it was nowhere near the 500 grand a week people were claiming. It could raise to 500 grand a week, but essentially that would be if we played 2 games in a week, he scored 2 hat tricks, and Man United won both games. Maybe then he could earn 500 grand a week, including over £150,000 in potential image rights as well. So sometimes you have to look at these deals and break them down to granularity because they can often be overexposed. You know, so I'll give you an example. A lot of football players have clauses in their contracts where they have to play a set amount of minutes to earn their full weekly wage. So you could be on 100 grand a week. But that's if you play more than 75 minutes per game. If you get subbed off at 65 minutes, forget it. If you get subbed off at 74 minutes, your salary for that week might be £60,000 a week. So you do need to see the breakdown of these deals. Because I don't think they're going to be playing any player £308,000 a week who's just come in at his age, a flat wage of that. Because then you're going to have bonuses on top of it, plus Image rights. I just don't see that myself. I don't see that myself. But we'll see. We'll see what they're saying there. We'll see what they're saying. Let's take a look at some of your comments here. Then KJ is going to be joining me in a few moments' time. Rival fans triggered. Yeah, look, I do see a lot of rivals that are triggered by this news of Arsenal looking at Vlahovic. I see it and I feel it. And some don't believe it's happening. Some, their venom towards it not happening is purely and simply, I don't want it to happen. So I'm going to put it out into the universe that it isn't happening. And hopefully we can create, I don't know, like create a butterfly effect for it or something. Like there's definitely something at play in relation to that for me. There we go. The fact that Fabrizio is now saying it's a good fit is huge. Fabrizio has been making statements doubting the deal all along. He's starting to hedge. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say about that. Listen, Fabrizio was the guy I think that broke the news that Arsenal's phone calls were being ignored. And this is why I talk about not taking... And listen, Fabrizio changing his stance is important because that means Arsenal are not feeding Fabrizio the news on this. Fabrizio's getting the news from Italy, which means something has changed. Someone's telling him something different. But remember, Fabrizio reports the news in such a brilliant way. He just gives you what he's been told. Very rarely is he passing an opinion based on what he's heard. So you'll hear some journalists and you go, he got that wrong. That's because they say, this is what I've been told and this is what I think. Fabrizio, the reason that he's become so popular is because he has this brilliant knack, and I'm praising him here. If you twist this into a negative, you're weird, is that he has a brilliant way of phrasing just what he's been told. Therefore, when something goes in the opposite direction, he'll say, but that wasn't my opinion. I didn't say that was going to happen. That's what I've been informed. That's what I have heard. That's what I've been told. He has done it in such a brilliant way. So I get your feeling on that. But remember, the first outlet, this is what's crazy about it. The first outlet that said that Arsenal were not being ignored, this was bullshit. The same outlet that last week said Arsenal have submitted their first, they said it was official bid. But again, there are semantics at play with this. Football fans have got to look beyond the clear and obvious things that the majority of tier one journalists push out. You've got to look beyond it because we tend to only get it from them when things are coming to a conclusion as opposed to in its fledgling stage. Look for more sources. Take everybody with a pinch of salt, but also take them seriously at the same time. You've got to learn to balance it. That's my take on it, because when I heard that Arsenal were being ignored, didn't make sense. I saw more reports saying Arsenal were not being ignored than saying they were being ignored. And I'm like, I don't think all those other outlets are lying. It's just a different story. So for me, yeah, I hear you on that. I understand why you think it's big. And I totally get that. I totally do. The fact that you've super chatted it in as well. Andrew, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate that. I'm going to bring KJ on in a few moments to have his say on the terrace. What's it say here? Fake news. Arsenal bid nothing. We are not signing anyone this winter. Again, the club will say you didn't bid because you haven't done it through the official channels. But if you ask an agent to ask a club whether this level of bid would be acceptable, that's a bid, bruv. I'll give you the example, and I've seen a lot of other YouTubers take this example, so I know it hits home. All you boys out there, boys do this more than girls in my experience. When you ask your friend to ask the friend of a girl that you fancy to whether or not she would go out on a date with you, if the news comes back as no, she would say no, you have still been rejected. It just isn't a big public rejection of you almost getting down on one knee in the playground in front of all the kids and being told no. It is still a rejection. If I ask KJ to phone up a YouTuber that he knows to ask if they want to come and do a show with me, and I'm like, okay, do you reckon they'd do it? And he's like, I'll have a chat. And he has a chat and goes, no, I'll tell. Like, he'd probably say no. I've been rejected. I can't say, I didn't officially offer him a contract, so therefore, no rejection. It's bullshit. Honestly, that's the one thing football fans have got to drop. It's sickening. It's sickening. John here says, I'm very jealous seeing Arsenal's ambition this window, but I hope they sign him. Last time they were this excited when they got Pepe signed, and now look how that turned out. Still think they should go for a midfielder ahead of Vlahovic. The CM is more of a worry. Do you know what I would say? I hear you. But this is another transfer fallacy that I think fans have created. You should sign your number one priority first. I get the logic. It's actually clear logic. However, if they leave Vlahovic to the summer, they probably won't get him. So for them, it's a case of we can get this. This is our second priority signing, but we need to do it now because otherwise we'll probably miss out. That's why I hear you. That's why I think Arsenal are doing it this way around, which for me is more logical and sensible in my view. In my view, Chris thinks it's a waste of time at this point. I don't know. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is right now. Big up Terry in the terrace. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Right. KJ's coming on now to join me on the show to have his say, especially with PP looking like he's leaving. I don't know. Are we going to see KJ cry? Are we going to see him happy? He just looked when I said that. KJ's here with me now, people. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah. Lots of interesting news today. Like, first one I want to get your take on is most of the big boys journalistically are now saying Pogba done, gonna leave.
Oh, that's been waiting for the last 2-3 seasons to hear that news anyway. So it is what it is. I think most United fans accepted the fact that he was going to go. Even his biggest fans wouldn't like scream and shout and cry like over these news because we've known it for a very long time. So the only annoying thing is for Man United, we don't get no money for him. You know what I mean? Like he leaves again for free, and rivals will banter. Rivals will look at you bought him back for 90 million, couldn't even sell him, blah blah blah. So they will have their fun. But for Man United as an entity, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. You don't let a youth player go for free, bring him back for 90 million, and then let him go for free again. That just doesn't make you look good. But it just shows the issues and problems that we've had at Manchester United. And people can scream and shout at us saying, "Oh, but you guys are spoiled because you guys spend money, blah blah." And look at this example. How is this happening? How is this allowed to happen? That someone like Paul Pogba is allowed to go on a free because we haven't been the team good enough to keep him here. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, and hopefully, Pogba has a nice career in Spain or France, wherever he goes, and Man United learn from this, and hopefully, I don't believe it, but hopefully, like operate better when it comes to our bigger players.
Yeah, and look, the transfer fee thing is interesting. If we'd have sold him 3 years ago, you'd have had some income for him, but that would have then been used up on somebody else. If we'd have signed a new deal with him last year and sold him, you make a bit of money, but it will equal itself out, really. I think for Man United, they have tried to re-sign him. I just don't think they've gone to the financial levels that he wanted, personally, because the one thing I would say that's sensible about him not signing is I don't know how much more his body can take as well, on a non-footballing level in terms of ability. This guy, it feels like he misses 2 or 3 months every season anyway. If you're going to pay someone 400 grand a week, they need to be somebody that has an exemplary injury. Like, one of the most important things is, are they available for 90% of your games most of the time? And I think when you've already got a fairly bad, like Paul Pogba's injury record, when you look at it, he never gets labeled as injury prone like certain players do, but he is. He hasn't ever had like an 18-month, like a crazy long period out. But he seems to, for me, it just feels like every season it's 2 3 months.
It is with Paul Pogba. It's one injury a season will keep him out for 2-3 months. It's not like the only exception was 1920 when he had an injury, then we brought him back too early, then he got another one and made it worse. But more than not, it's like he gets one injury that takes him out for a while. I think injury prone for people is you get multiple injuries like all the time, like 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, the next thing 2 months, and then you come back. But either way, that you're right.
Yeah, they're much of a muchness. Yeah, they're much.
Yeah. But
I think
his body is breaking down.
When I think of people who are not injury prone, I think of Mo Salah. I think of Bruno Fernandes. I think Virgil van Dijk isn't injury prone. He got an impact injury bad once, and he's been before that and after that. No, like he's a knock here, pulled there. you know, but Matip gets considered injury prone because it's always like miss 2 weeks, miss 3 weeks, miss. Yeah, I hear you. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Look, we just look to move on from him now. You know, we know the transfer strategy at Manchester United is not great, and we've known that for a long time. We, as you say, we get called spoiled. But it's when you dig beneath the initial, but you spent loads of money. Yeah, on the same players that you tell us are overrated. The irony. On Arsenal situation. Sorry,
before
mate,
we go to Arsenal, I just want to stick on Man United for a sec. A lot has come out regarding just Man United in general, the Martial situation. More light has been shed on it. Rangnick's press conference. The biggest thing I saw was two things. One, he said we're going to play 4-3-3. And then two, he did speak a lot about Jadon Sancho and him playing. So are we going to see more Jadon Sancho? Are we going to see more Donny in the 4-3-3? I don't know, but I feel like it's very interesting for him to actually come out and say that actually, no, we are going away from what he originally wanted to do with the 4-2-2 and is going with this 4-3-3, which obviously I welcome. Many Man United fans love that formation and think that's what the best formation for Man United is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully something. Because if 4-3-3 don't work, Sancho, Van der Beek, then I got no hope.
Covering this as a subject on Straight Facts this afternoon, so it's not something I'm going to go too much detail on now. Yeah. What I found really interesting is that our best performance, I know we drew the game, was with the 4-3-3. The one sign of encouragement I have is that when that news came out yesterday, most Man United rivals were like, you'll be even worse in that formation. And I always get suspicious, a bit like this Vlahovic deal. When you get rivals all jump straight out with, no, not happening, it's terrible. That makes me go, oh, is there something here? Because of the reaction from rivals. It's a bit like everybody hoping Thomas Tuchel gets sacked. You're only hoping Tuchel gets sacked because you know how good he is. If he was a dead manager, why would you be happy he's being sacked? Do you get where I'm coming from? So yeah. I hear you on that. What is your take on the Vlahovic news? Because a lot of news coming out of Florence is that another bid's coming. Arsenal are confident. There is the take that he still prefers Juve, but Arsenal are not giving up. What does that tell you in your opinion? What's it saying to you personally when you read all those? And you've had the likes of Fabrizio go from not happening, they're ignoring the calls, to Arsenal's a great project, they'd be brilliant for him. Like, what's your take when you kind of read it all and put it all together? What's your feeling on this deal?
I respect Arsenal for trying to get it done, and it looks like they will. Like, there's nothing but respect for that. I don't agree with rivals trying to shut it down, saying, you guys are gonna get disappointed, blah blah blah, because at the end of the day, Arsenal fans have been crying out for the club to go out and make moves, and if you don't get them, at least show that you're trying to do it, and they're doing that. I don't think it's the same as like a few years ago where they'll always be linked to one big name and just never actually try and get them, be actually nowhere near getting them, and it's just all like, oh, we tried, we inquired once, and then that's us for the whole summer. Like, I can see this is actually they've been pushing hard for this, and now that you've got like big journalists coming out saying, oh, the Vlahovic is someone that would fit Arsenal. They've been trying really hard. They love him. Blah blah blah. It's only a good sign, and Arsenal fans should be encouraged no matter what happens. If you get him or not, you guys should be encouraged that actually like their club are slowly starting to turn around. And I'm someone who, I've said many times, I think Arsenal maybe and Vlahovic both should wait to the summer just to see how the land lies at the end of the season and all these things. But if they do end up saying, Vlahovic wants Arsenal wants Vlahovic, and everything just comes together, I can't sit here and say it's a terrible signing. Like, I might say there should be some precaution because of the price, the amount of money that he's asking for, the way that it's happened. But overall, he's a very talented player, young player as well. Hopefully, if he can adapt to the Premier League, and if he can, Arsenal have got a really good player in their hands, a striker that they can have for hopefully for their eyes many years.
Yeah, mate, I agree. Look, and I kind of, there's a comment here I highlighted it. First of all, from thoughts on Partey missing 0 league games was exactly, again, Arsenal probably didn't anticipate that Ghana would be so bad, but Plays for Ghana, right? I'm assuming. I swear I read yesterday it was Ghana. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So that postponing the North London derby has worked out brilliantly. Fred here though says, Terry, there's no reason why we couldn't sign a midfielder first and Vlahovic this window. We have a massive game tomorrow and we have a smaller squad than last week. So Fred, there is a reason. When you say no reason, I'm not saying you're completely wrong, but there is a reason. The midfielders you want are completely unattainable this window. That's your reason. So sometimes people, you've got to. This is not. I know it's. I'm not. I don't want to sound harsh, Fred, because I know you're watching. This isn't FIFA, where generally, if you bid the acceptable offer, the deal goes through. This is real life. The Arsenal might have 3 midfielders they're looking at, and none of them they can get this month. It is an impossibility. They won't chase. The reason Arsenal are chasing Vlahovic is there is a distinct possibility to get him, and if they leave it to the summer, they feel there's less of a chance. Arsenal's strategy here for me is perfect. There's no way if Arsenal's number 1 midfielder was available now, in my opinion, they'd go and get him. But he ain't. That'll be the reason. When you say there's no reason, there will be one, Fred. I can assure you of that. I can assure you of it.
And it's like they're not trying. Like the Arsenal Melo link ain't going away. You know what I mean? He hasn't been fully shut down yet. It's just a little waiting game, and you have to wait and see if that comes through. Because if you get Vlahovic and Artur, that is an amazing January transfer window. Probably one of the best that we've seen in a while.
So if Arsenal pull that off, it is huge. And again, we're not going to go into it now. It's for the Straight Facts podcast this afternoon with myself and Jess. Top 4 debate we're talking about. We are asking whether Thomas Tuchel could be sacked, and we're going to delve into some the talking points that have fallen out from the Man United situation and the press conference, and a lot of what is in fairness. What I will say as a prelude to that show this afternoon, a lot of what Ralph said about Sancho was what I've been talking about for years at Man United: expectation and pressure when you've got no. Think about it this way: like think about a physical representation. If you're on a unsturdy ground, you go gym. Do you do squats?
Yeah.
You do free weight squats, like man squats with the bar. You do with the bar.
I do with the bar. Yeah, I do with the bar. Yeah.
Imagine trying to do that on unsturdy ground, unlevel ground, or it was soft. You would break your ankles, you'd break your knees. When you have that kind of pressure on you and going through your body, you need a solid foundation and platform. You need the right footwear. You need the right space in the gym. Otherwise, you are going to actually hurt yourself. I've seen a mad video of a woman, a weightlifter, trying to do it in high heels, and she literally snapped her ankle. That's Man United players. They are trying to squat 100 kilos with high heels on. There is no foundation, and they're crumbling under the pressure. But we'll go into that a little bit later. And the thing is, I know I sound arrogant when I talk about this, but I know I'm right. And the reason I know I'm right is all the other clubs that are doing it successfully have what we don't. And there isn't quality players. It isn't even per se better coaches. The reason why the Klopp and Peps have been successful is they've helped to make the foundations that the clubs they're at better. Even better. But there we go. We can definitely get onto that a little bit later. Jacob here says, yes, Terry has spoken sense, and whoever has ears should listen. The fact that Arsenal have not given up means the deal can happen. But this is what happens to Arsenal fans. And I'm even going to call Jess out on this, and I'll call her out later on it. Jess falls into this category. It's over, guys. It's not happening. Let's forget about it. Or Jess does that a lot. Like, it ain't happening. Like, let's play it down. If it does, be like, wow. And I get why. Some Arsenal fans, especially a lot of the content creators, it's like no advanced talks have happened. You telling me Arsenal have got to maybe their second bid and they haven't had advanced talks with the agent where they've gone into intricate detail about what's going to go on? It's nothing to advance. No, the process hasn't advanced beyond bid, but the talks between you and the reps are definitely advanced. No, it is all preliminary at best. They want to play it down so they can walk away and go, we weren't rejected. And I say this to any Arsenal fan who cares about that. I feel sorry for you. Any football fan, I'm like, your club's fighting hard here for a top player. Either celebrate the fact you're going for it, or be annoyed that they weren't able to pull it off. But this whole sort of, no, we didn't really go in for him anyway. Yes, you did. Like, I grew up.
I kind of...
Do you know what? Go on.
No, I get the position. You know, if it's about the getting rejected, you don't want to get the rejection banter. Yeah, that's don't worry about that. But if it's generally just the PTSD of Arsenal letting them down once again in transfer window, I get it. I get it. Like, remember, I was crushed when we didn't get Sancho 1920. Like, was it no 2021 when we that season? It was it. It was. I was like, we're never gonna sign him. I just thought we ended up getting him in the end. Obviously, it's not worked out as quick as we hoped, but still, I understand that when you've been let down by the club, when you've been let down by journalists, by whoever, you just get to a point where you're just like, you know what? It's easier for me not to believe because not everyone can be a gal. Like, no, not everyone can be a gal with a positivity. Because my man, literally, some man down the street could say, like, Vlahović is coming and you'll believe it.
And I get it. I get it. I just think for me, I just sit in the real world of there isn't this much noise without there being something going on. This isn't the same. This isn't 20 newspapers sharing the same story. This is multiple outlets from multiple countries. I just don't. It's a bit like when Man United had the start of this window with the Julian Alvarez deal. Man United sat down in a long meeting with the agents and went into very detailed conversations about it being offered. We also knew other clubs were doing it. But then lots of people are like, no, nothing's advanced. Well, yeah, no, the transfer hasn't advanced because Man United haven't even made a bid for it yet, but they definitely had a conversation with him. Why can't you just say, we've had a conversation with him? And there's two reasons. This is why the clubs do it. One, in case he picks a rival now and not us if we bid. But equally, if we talk up, look how I do get it, but I don't get why it bothers people so much. I think Arsenal have learned media-wise, you know, and I think this is where it comes from. You know, we saw those stories of they nearly signed Ronaldo, they nearly signed Zlatan, they nearly signed Yaya.
Yeah.
It's almost like the clubs don't want that anymore. They don't want, you know, imagine Man United had advanced detailed talk. I bet they admitted to having advanced detailed talks with Julian Alvarez. And then they don't pursue it. Man United actually go, no, we're not interested. And then he goes to Bayern Munich and he's scoring 40 goals a season. United fans will kick off. So if they say, we never really spoke to him, we were never in for him, therefore we couldn't make an offer, they wash their hands of responsibility. I don't care about my club being bantered. I don't care about my club wash. I am about holding a club to accountability. So if they go for Vlahović and this way it doesn't happen, it's, well done for trying. If they do this 3 or 4 more times with big players and they don't land it, then you start to look at it, hang on, I don't care about the banter. Have we got the right people in recruitment? I always want the truth in its fullest because that way you can hold your football club to account. That's more important to me. I don't care what some Liverpool fan laughs at me for. It don't bother me. What I care about, I suppose that's my take on it. And people look at it very differently. But Arsenal are definitely in advanced talks with Vlahovic's people. They are definitely trying to advance this transfer process. It's the semantics for me. Interesting comment here. It's just from the Grazia. They say, Grazia, Italy. Grazia Italy could only be Italian because I think Grazia is an Italian word. But anyway, it says Fiorentina are tired of the situation and they want to know what Vlahović wants to do this January. But he wants to be a free agent. So I still think I'm not sure if he's going to go to Arsenal. Now, interestingly, yes.
Is he out of contract?
No. He's a free agent in 18 months' time. So again, but there's still something Arsenal could do here. Listen, pay you 300 grand a week. How about we put a buyout clause in of 120 million pounds that starts in 18 months? However, if you reach a certain amount of, I don't know, goals or we get into a certain point, like maybe if we're in the Champions League 2 years running, that buyout clause gets extended by a year. Do something. Be creative. Try something. And at least then in 18 months, if he says, I'm off, you're going to get 120 million bags for like bars for him, bruv. Or if you're in the Champions League 2 years running, that buyout clause gets extended. If he renews his contract in that time, it's like you could try something to tempt him now. Because 18 months is a long time in football. It's a long time in football. And they could do something, Arsenal. They really, really could. And I think that Tom from I can't remember the name of his channel now, Guna Talk TV, he'll back that. Because when I said I didn't want Man United doing that with Haaland, he told me I was wrong. So he as a Guna should be back in that process. I bet he don't. I bet he don't, but he should. It's going to be very interesting indeed. I just think, you know what it is? I love transfers. I think what's just bothered me in the last 18 months is the semantic. Do you know what one hasn't been used in January? Hasn't been used yet. My little perler of personal terms will not be a problem. Are they agreed then? No talks have happened, but there won't be a problem. Well, how would they not be a problem if no talks have happened? If the talks aren't detailed and advanced, how would you know that it isn't a problem?
It's a good problem. Yeah.
It's when you break these comments down to granularity, they don't make sense unless the clubs are having detailed and advanced long meetings or serious meetings, or when they say preliminary, what does that mean? Do you know what I'm saying? It's mad to me. It's a madness. There are rumors Arsenal went broke because the Pepe installments, that's why they failed to sign Buendia. Listen, the installments were the funniest story in the world. I'm going to, again, sound arrogant. I was the first YouTuber ever before this. I'm going to try and find the videos talking about installment payments, talking about how this is transfers are done. You're chatting rubbish, Terry. And then when Arsenal started getting bantered for it, I remember two big gooners on a big Arsenal channel were like, bruv, find me that video where you spoke about installments being normal. I was like, oh, you watched it but didn't share it. Thanks, mate. And then they started talking about it. Same with the Netspend thing. As soon as certain clubs are like back in the Netspend thing right now. As soon as their clubs start having bad Netspends, watch them turn around and go, but I've read that Netspend's a myth. Watch them. They'll change their stance.
Liverpool. No. I know the club is that club, Liverpool. Because when they did the when the Pepe thing happened with Arsenal, they got called Broke FC, Installments FC, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as Thiago came for what 3 million a year or something that they said, they're like, oh, look how great my club is. Got me on installments. We only pay 5 million a year, or however much it was. I'm just like, fam, when Arsenal doing that, you're calling them brokes. What are you? Because you're doing it at a lower rate as well.
My bit for me is when I was literally telling, one of the reasons I knew this stuff is because like I did a secondment in the department of a bank that loaned money to football clubs to buy players. So what a lot of football clubs have done in the past is say they can't do a deal. Say a club says, no, it's cash up front, essentially. Cash transfer. Clubs will borrow the money from a bank because you can borrow it at like 0.3% over base. Where actually, but you're earning interest you've got £80 million in your bank account, but you're earning 2.5% interest. It's cheaper to borrow it for the football club than it is to spend your own cash. You're offsetting less, or you're making more on the offset of savings. So clubs will borrow it and then pay it back in installments over, say, a 3, 5, 6 year period. Even when they pay cash out front, often they're taking loans. And that's what I learned about. I was like, so clubs don't just pay lump sums out of their bank. And this guy was like, looking at me like I'm dumb. I was in my early 20s. He's like, no business, if they can help it, spend their own money on anything. You get investment, or you borrow it, or whatever else, because it's safer than cash is king for every business in the world. So if they can avoid not spending lump sums of cash, they will. And this is my problem with a lot of transfer news. And maybe I've got to start developing the Done Deal show with Dean and others like it. So like Sarim says, preliminary talks mean initial. Again, what does that mean? So I need to start asking this question of, when you say preliminary, what is said in a preliminary conversation? How long do they last? What gets discussed? How much detail do they go into? That's why when I don't watch Sky Sports News anymore when they do their transfer shows, because it's just fan opinion. And what I mean by that is, and presenter opinion, that's great. But I can watch those guys on their YouTube channels do that. What I want is experts breaking down how these things work with the fans with them. So give me Anita, give me Flex. Obviously, I watch it when Anita's on there, definitely, because I support Anita. But I want to hear fan opinion on the transfer. I want to hear an ex-pro's opinion on the transfer, or ex-manager. Then I want a lawyer or an agent or a transfer expert to explain what happens in preliminary talks, why it can take so long. We had one of the greatest agents ever in John Smith come on the Football Terrace years ago when he was still active and around working. And he broke down to us in an hour and a half show how transfers work, the difficulties, and you learned so much. That's what I want to now see from the mainstream media. Educate the masses on how transfers work. Stop this.
Terry, the thing is, the masses don't want to be educated, bruv. They don't. Because as soon as it breaks their world of FIFA, Football Manager, and all of that, as soon as it breaks that world, it's like, no, it's not real. No, what you're saying is like, but Kieran Maguire came on this channel, yeah, told you how finance works in football, and people were calling him a liar. You know what I mean? People don't want to be educated. They want the fan opinion. They want to get vexed ex-pros. All they want is the surface level, easy to digest, easy to understand kind of football finance, football transfers. Because let's be honest now, I'm sorry, everyone in the comments, if this applies to you. Most football fans are dense. Most football fans are dense when it comes to football. They just want to see their team win, and that's all they care about. They don't care about intricacies. They don't care about actual things going on. They just want to hear what they want to hear, and it's dense.
Yeah,
do
you know what? I think most of the football terrorist community, I'm going to say, are not. I love even the ones that give me stick. I think they're cool. I think what it is for a lot of people, that if the complete truth is out there, there's nowhere to hide. So you don't get to claim that your title over City's is better because your net spend is lower by 100 million. You don't get to claim that your director of football is the best because they worked out a brilliant installment deal. You don't get the banter Arsenal if they can't afford the cash lump up front. If people know the truth, I suppose it takes away banter. And it takes away the ability to elevate achievements, or it takes away excuses if things go wrong. And before I knew that net spend wasn't real, you won't find this on camera because it didn't exist. Between Ronaldo being sold and Fergie retiring in that 4-year period, because of Ronaldo's fee, and net spend was amazing. And I used to be like, look, we won 2 titles. Look at the net spend since Ronaldo left. It's brilliant. What an idiot I was. But I used it in that way. I used it as a tool to elevate our achievements, because Chelsea won a league title in that time and City won a league title in that time. But their net spend was gargantuan compared to ours. And it was ours is better because we spent less. And then you work out and realize, when you break down all the financial matters connected to it, we really didn't. It's in and around the same.
Yeah, bro. I play Football Manager, yeah. And when I was doing it when I was younger, I'd look at my sales, I'd look at my profit and what I bought for. But like, yes, positive net spend. Little did I know, my wage bill went all the way up, bro. So I was literally spending more, and then you start to if you're not that good at Football Manager, you start to do badly, and therefore you lose money. So you're up there doing look at my net spend, but you're in £20 million in debt, bro, because you can't even pay your flipping squad. So.
Aid here says preliminary talks mean the meeting has been set up and they confirm to attend. I get all that. That again, that's the what it is. I want to know in the meeting what's discussed. So that would be, if I had Fabrizio here right now. So when you say preliminary talks, Fabalicious, what was discussed? What detail? What is it? Is it just, would your player be interested? Because I don't think they set up a meeting, travel to an office somewhere or a restaurant, sit down and go, would your player be interested in joining? I don't know. I haven't asked him. Well, can you go and ask him, and then we'll have the next meeting? Cool. So we eat first? No, go now, please. It's going to be more than that, right? They're not going to meet for 10. That's a phone call. Maybe that's what it is. It's a case of, I think when they meet face to face, for instance, as Man United did with Alvarez's people in January, it's got to be more detailed than basic information. It's got to be, the player being presented in terms of everything he can offer, the club looking at what they're doing, discussing things. I think after those talks, then it's a case of, is it right for us now or in the future or whatever? Yes or no. But I just would love to know. And I was sitting there racking my brains I was looking at these stories today. Went, what do all these things mean? I just want to know now. Maybe I'm getting old.
I think maybe preliminary talks is a fancy way of saying, the agent of whatever player got called by a representative of Man United, a scout, and they just said, interested in your player, are you good? And they're like, all right, I'll let you know. And that's it, preliminary talks, but they make it sound so grandiose and like, we've had a meeting, we've sat them.
It could be that. It could be that. Comment here says, Terry tries so hard not to admit that United spend more money than Liverpool in the last 3 seasons. I definitely would admit that, my bro. Liverpool win the Champions League and PL. United won nothing. It's a good point. The problem that you've got with your point is, I've been saying that net spend isn't real for 6 years. Secondly, over 6 years on socials, and before that in real life. The problem you've got on top of that as well is, it's great in the last few years, but if you actually look at Liverpool's spend in Premier League history, up until Fergie retired, as an example. I haven't looked at the total spend since then. Like, I think Liverpool had spent something like only like 20 million less than Man United. It was colossal, but that isn't the focus. The net spend element isn't real. Man United definitely spend more, and it's why I condemn my club. So it's a good attempt. It's a good attempt, but not quite the full cigar, my brother. Not quite the full cigar there, my friend. We have a super chat here that says, even though LFC are starved of transfers, but throwing salt at Liverpool and putting down its transfers and director of football is so funny coming from... We haven't slagged off Liverpool at all.
Whenever you said anything.
See, I'll tell you what KJ did. KJ said that it was hilarious that the Liverpool fans were celebrating the way the Thiago deal was structured. He's not having a go at what you did. It was brilliant, but it's common. Liverpool didn't invent installment payments on players. They have existed for many, many years, especially since the level of transfers has grown so much. It isn't attacking Liverpool. Your director of football, Michael Edwards, one of the best in the business. The approach Liverpool took to build Jurgen Klopp's squad, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Nobody has slagged off anything about Liverpool. What we're talking about is how fans will ignore fact to be able to elevate their team or to defend their team. It's not specific about Liverpool. I also said that I did it for years for Man United until I was educated on the fact that net spend isn't real in the arbitrary, basic bitch way that we as fans use it to banter people. The problem is when you know something isn't real, it's so hard to talk about it. It's so hard to... Like, once I found out Santa wasn't real, Christmas didn't mean the same. When I found out the tooth fairy wasn't real and another tooth fell out, I didn't put it under my pillow anymore. When I found out net spend wasn't real, I couldn't banter people about it anymore.
Wait, but man went direct to the source.
Your club is brilliant. Your club is brilliant. Your director of football is amazing. That isn't what we said at all. But that's the point you said, KJ. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to...
They hear what they want to hear. But hey, Terry, fam, I already know that as soon as you found out the tooth Terry weren't real, you got your tooth, yeah, went all the way up to your mum. We're like, your mum, give me my money. Give me my money.
This is also true. Sarim's right. It goes, the net spend myth being debunked is the worst thing ever. Now we have DIY accountants when it comes to talking about football. And I do hear you on that. Like, I wish I didn't know. It's one of them things. I feel like Neo at the start, you know, like before. I wish I could take a red. I wish I could take a blue pill and be snapped back into gear. Is it the blue one that makes you go back? I wish I could be replugged in to the system. I agree. I wish I didn't know this stuff. I wish.
I tell you, ignorance is bliss. There are times where, like, I'm living life and like, oh, do you want to know this? I'm like, no, do not. Because I'm wonderful over here, not knowing what the hell is going on.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
You know what? So my dad said this to me when I was really young. He said, people act like they want the government to always tell them the truth. I get about things like having work parties and stuff. That's different. I don't want to really know what's said when we're chatting to Russia because I think it scares me. I don't really know. I don't really want to know the grand truth of how bad things can be. You know, imagine they told us every day when there was a terror attack that's nearly happened or whatever. I don't want to know any of that. I found out once that yogurt was gone off milk. It made me feel sick. I don't want to know that. Like, do you know what I mean? There's certain things I don't need to know.
Man, you shouldn't like cheese or butter or nothing like that then, fam, because your world will be turned upside down.
Look at this comment here. Let's catch Terry out. How?
But that's what everyone tries to do. You know what I mean? Some of your viewers, some of the wonderful viewers of the Football Terrace, their main goal, if they love you or hate you, it don't matter. They're like, I want to make him go red. I want to make him get frustrated. I want to catch him out. I want to be the guy that's smartest in the room. I know that's what your motivation is. And my guys, keep trying. That's what I'm going to say. Keep motivating. You'll do it one day. Just keep going.
Thank you. There we go. Why did you tell us about your yogurt? I know what you're pulling on there, my friend. Yes, from the fridge. No more yogurt for me. Yes. Sorry if I've ruined it for you, my bro. I'm sorry. I know you play. I know you're all playing. That's why I play back. It's cool. Relax. Don't do it. Right. That is the end of the show, though, because I've got to go to London. I got to go studio.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. I know, okay, you got to move to London, bruv. Much better city, nicer people.
Pay me enough, yeah.
Better accent.
Oh, wait, pay me enough. and you know I'm coming through
Bro,
in it.
we got some stuff on the way for you. We got some work bubbling every
Oh,
day. We're
people, you hear
bubbling.
this? Don't ever chat on the terrace's name that they don't back. They give
Bro,
back.
do you know what's funny? It's actually my dream. It's my dream, and I've told you this privately, but everyone that's helped the terrace, one day I would love to employ full time on a good wage. Got to build the business up to a point where I had one guy that wanted to come and do some stuff on the terrace, and he was like, "Can you pay me what this channel used to and my expenses and travel stuff?" And I'm like, "Bro, that channel a month makes more than my business does in over a year." So I'm not there yet. I'm getting there though. We'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. Do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. We'll see you this afternoon as well in about 4 hours' time for Straight Facts.